You're watching the 2024 SCAC Tennis Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the Trinity University men's tennis program. The Tigers will once again be led as they head into the season of the guys, the head coach Russell McMindes, along with leadership from senior Rob Chang. And Coach Rob, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for making time.
Coach, we'll open up with you heading into your 15th season there at your alma mater as the head coach of this men's tennis program. I'm just interested what you've grown to love about Trinity and that space that you occupy as the head coach. Obviously, a space that I would imagine is very special to you, just having played and now transitioning into that coaching for these number of years. What have you grown to love about this space, and how excited are you to get back and at the start of a new spring semester here?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty wild because it's actually my 25th year in some capacity on our campus, including being a student athlete, being an assistant coach, and now the men's coach for the head coach for 15 years. So yeah, I've seen it from all different angles, and spent over half my life on the campus. It's near and dear to my heart. Being around, guys like Butch, who paved the way for me specifically, and just being part of that now, I guess, legacy of what the Trinity tennis program is all about, going all the way back to Clarence. That's something that excites me every time, to know that we're part of that. And then of course getting, guys like Rob and the rest of this team. I mean, just the cool thing about being a coach is that you get to hit the reset on the competitive juices every year. Like, we get another shot at it. Like, as a student athlete, your time is finite. You graduate in 4 years, and that ending comes far too soon. But as a coach, you share in those agonies, but it's also the excitement of getting to reset it each year and go back at it with a new group of guys. Or that's what's exciting to me, creating the relationships with all these guys that last well beyond the 4 years that they're on campus, and just getting to know who they are, and just it's what keeps me feeling young. Even though I know I'm getting further and further, a few more gray hairs in the beard, but it's that keeps me excited every year, is just getting to do it with all these new faces. I mean, this year is as exciting as ever because we've had a bit of a turnover. We've got young guys, and we've got good leadership with Rob and Dalton, our other captain, and what they represent. So it's just fun to go at it. Every year is a new year. And obviously Trinity's been a special place to me in my life as I've grown up as a student athlete, now as an adult. So it's a great spot for me.
Rob, Coach talks about kind of that finite time period as a student athlete and as a senior heading into this senior season. I'm interested just in your mindset coming into the year. How excited are you to be back and competing with your guys? Is there a sense of urgency? And then, Coach mentioned it's a young group. So how have you kind of shouldered a little bit of that leadership role and responsibility, and maybe seen that role change for you heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely a little nervous heading into this season. It was really scary ending last season just because so much of our team that I'd known in the past was above me. We graduated 6 seniors last year, and those guys all played a huge part in the identity that I knew as Trinity men's tennis. But we got 5 new freshmen. Throughout the fall, we've spent a lot of time together. We've done a lot of team bonding. I've spent a lot of time on and off the court with them. Yeah, I definitely think there is a bit of urgency when every time I get out there, it feels like I'm getting a little closer to the end. But at the same time, like, I'm not scared of it. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the time I've spent at Trinity. I'm really happy for the time that I have left. And I think there's a great group of guys that we've been able to build. We've been able to build a really special team this season so far.
Coach, I think one of the interesting challenges from your standpoint, especially in tennis, is kind of the individual aspect of our game, and then blending it with kind of that team dynamic that certainly comes together in the end. For you as a head coach, what have you found works best in kind of blending those two together? And maybe it changes team to team. How do you kind of deal with the fluidity of that throughout the course of the season?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that process begins during the recruiting process. I mean, you're trying to talk to these guys, and you get a sense for the ones that do buy into that idea, because you're right. I mean, it's the most unique part of our sport is that you spend, the bulk of your career as an individual trying to chase individual gains so you can be recruited by a team, which is interesting. And then if you're recruiting well, you're getting a bunch of guys that are used to being the best wherever they are, and now they're trying to blend into a program where they're surrounded by a bunch of guys that are the best, and somebody's going to have to play 2 or 6 or wherever that might be. So it is an interesting dynamic, but like I said, it starts in the conversations and the relationships you develop during the recruiting process. And then honestly, hopefully I don't embarrass, but it requires leadership, like a guy like Rob, like guys when your leaders are selfless, when they will spread the message the right way, will they lead by example? It's critical. I mean, I know it's a little cliche. You hear it in professional sports too, but it's your leadership on the team within the guys is absolutely vital. That nobody's above certain things or duties or tasks, and it trickles down from there. And then, of course, when you've got a group of guys, the thing is you got to try to keep them all engaged. You got to try to keep them all feeling motivated, and like their chances right around the corner. And then just what Rob has done really well in the off season, just building a strong team dynamic to where everybody understands that, hey, the betterment of the team is what's most important. So whatever I can do to contribute to that, if that means I'm the rally guy on the bench for today, and that's what gets the other guys going, then that's what it is. If it's I'm getting my number called today and I'm going to go out there and leave it all out there, then that's what it's going to be today. But it requires that constant conversation, and in tough times, it's where it really digs in and see what they're all about. But the guys so far have responded. It's going to be a fun season for sure.
Rob, you're coming off a junior campaign in which you earned all tournament SCAC honors, both at singles and doubles. A very successful junior season. What does a year like that do for you, just in terms of your confidence, and how would you describe yourself as a tennis player? Where are you most comfortable out there on the court when things are going well for you?
Yeah, I think junior year was really, really good for me. It was the first time I consistently found my way onto the court, and having a relatively successful season, I think, did a lot for my confidence in my college career. Moving into this season, I think I'm really excited to see what I can do. Hopefully, I can still stay on the court, and try to leave it all out there. As for my game, I think I definitely have been a baseline grinder for a long time now, just finding a lot of groove behind the court. But recently, with a little more confidence and a little more inspiration from the players around me, I think we've been trying to work on finding like that nice mid-court ball and chasing it, following it in, and using my hands a little more at the net, both in singles and doubles.
Coach, you mentioned the energy that this team has brought to you, just in terms of 5 new freshmen on this squad, 8 underclassmen in total. And, after graduating a big class last year, as we talked about, for you, what is key in kind of transitioning these young athletes into your program as they make that transition from high school to college? And what about this group have you seen early on in terms of their returns that continues to build your confidence that they're going to, be a big part of this group moving into the spring semester?
Yeah, I mean, again, I probably a little redundant here, but it goes back to, I think our captains this year with Rob and Dee have done probably as exceptional a job as we've had, as far as allowing those guys to feel included and really letting them transition as part of the team and not creating any kind of hierarchy. It's just everybody's part of the team. And so I think that's a critical first component, is just to have the right guys at the top that are like that have that kind of character to themselves, that they want these guys as a brotherhood. And so that's the biggest first step, is to make sure that exists, that part of the culture. And then once they're here, yeah, just continuing to check on, because it is a huge transition, making sure we maintain close ties with all these guys, and making sure that they're transitioning to college and away from home, or whatever that looks like, is going well with the academics, with the rigors of the season. And then, getting them court time as much as you can, get them the experience. And they've all really showed up well in the fall, which was great. And then that's given them confidence as they went through the off season and into our spring season now. So it's a confident group. I always challenge them that I kind of want them, it's kind of both sides. I want the upperclassmen to set the standard, and I want those freshmen to chase it and push the standard. So that's kind of the message in their ear constantly, is come in with the idea that they're going to, move the needle and really push it. And they've all responded really well to that. It's a hungry group. They're not afraid of anything. They're excited by the opportunity to be part of the program. They're excited for the opportunity to compete and contribute. So it's fun. They're all doing it the right way.
Rob, finally, as we wrap up with you, you can certainly hear the excitement in Coach's voice as we look forward to the season. So when you've had conversations with some of the other teammates and leaders within this group about some of the goals and expectations coming to the year, what have those conversations looked like? And ultimately, what's going to be key for this group to accomplishing those heading into the rest of the semester?
I mean, definitely, like Russ has been saying, there's a lot of excitement. I think everyone's really hungry to get out there. Everyone's looking for those spots Everyone's looking for those opportunities. It's been very exciting so far coming into this season and also being in this season. Not only has the team environment felt totally different, but the competitive mindset is just completely different this semester. I'm really excited for what these guys can do.
And finally, coach, as we wrap up with you, success in our arena can be measured in so many different ways, certainly with results, but also with things on and off the court as well. When you talk about success with your team, how do you try to deliver that message? How do you talk in terms of success and ultimately looking, at this season 2024 look successful if what plays out for this group?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and as a coach, and you're always trying to frame it and phrase it in such a way that it resonates, and you're talking about greater things than just wins and losses. Full disclosure, it's always easier when the wins are going your way. It's a lot easier. It's more fun to win. Everything feels like things are moving in the right direction. You can buy into all those thoughts when you're winning. Outside looking in, like, goals stay the same. We want to chase that conference title again. We want to see ourselves in the NCAA tournament and give ourselves a shot. So that's what we're striving for. That's what we're not not going to shy away from that goal any year. That's what we believe our standards should be. So we're after that. But then we talk about all the time about just being proud of how you compete. And so that's what we want for these guys. We want them to stay unified together. We want to see them, stay as tight a team at the end of the season as they started it. And that you're always tested when you got a bunch of competitors and only so many guys that can be on the court at any given time. So it's the constant challenge of being unified as a team. And that will be a measure of success is how well we finish the season that way. But just always, every time we go on the court, I always challenge the guys, be proud of what you did out there, not whether you win or lost, but like, be proud of how you represented each other, how you represented yourself. And ultimately, do you look back and say, I'm proud of what I did today? So that's what our goal every time. And we feel like if we take care of those things, then the results, hopefully, if we're good enough, will take care of themselves at the end.
Trinity University men's tennis program. Again, the Tigers led as they head into the season are the guys, the head coach Russell McMindes, along with the leadership from senior Rob Chang. Coach Rob, thanks so much for joining us today, and best of luck as you head out throughout the rest of the year.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.